Alright, well, welcome to day 2 of Drawing Boot Camp. Today we're going to focus on a new technique. This is a blocking style technique where we're going to block out the image first, and then we're going to build our contours, and then we'll add on with the value. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is, as always, we want to put a border around our sketchbook. Alright, now with these kind of sketches, like I told you last time, they don't have to be perfect. Alright, more irregular for these kind of sketches the better. The whole purpose for this though is to have a place to put some notes and to kind of write to yourself or be like, oh man, I messed up here. Alright, next time draw that, or this was really good and that's awesome, and you may put some notes on there. Alright, so the first thing we want to do, composition. Always want to focus on that first. Alright, now I'm going to show you an example of one that I've already done, but this is the image that we're going to strive for. Alright, now those that are sitting in class did not get to see this image first, but since we are working through the video, I do want to kind of give you an idea of where we're heading. Alright, I believe, yep, I have a second one here. Alright, so you can see how even the same instruction thing, different things do happen. Alright, so I'm going to set that to the side. Now, let's get started. Now, composition wise, I want to think about thirds. Alright, so that's the first thing we want to do. I really want to break this up into 1/3, 2/3. Alright, good basic composition, breaking that up, background, foreground kind of thing. Alright, now from there we're going to block in. So that's step one, is we're going to block in basically everything that we need. Alright, now we worked on perspective in class, so this next part shouldn't be that hard. But what we're going to do is we're going to start blocking in our bread. Alright, kind of use the concept of 2-point perspective a little bit. Alright, you've got that V shape, it's coming. Alright, it doesn't have to be perfect. Bread is not perfect. Alright, especially this kind of bread. This is a natural kind of bread. Maybe not the bread you buy at Kroger. Alright, but it is, it is more like what your granny would make, or what you would see in like more of an old style restaurant. Now, the next thing I'm going to do once I block in the bread, alright, you saw that it was sitting on a cutting board. So you see that I'm just sketching, I'm just roughing out. Now, with true blocking, I would really draw through the image, and you can see that there. Alright, if you do not like that method, if you think it's too busy or too messy, you saw how I started that, where I just worked on the edges. But make sure that you're keeping in mind that this and this are the same surface, that we're just further out. So whatever angle and wherever that's at, please make sure that is fitting that area. Alright, now, according to how thick you want your cutting board to be, you just add that in. Alright, and then you cut back across this way. Now from here we know we have an object. Alright, a cutting knife, a bread knife, so you want to sketch that in. I'm even going to go as far as right now throwing in that little shadow. Now the next thing, we're going to do a little bit of rounding here first, but I need to put the handle on the cutting board. So I'm going to basically lay this in. Now here's where we're going to make some adjustments, and I've told you with this kind of sketching, you have to be constantly adjusting. I want to have 2 planks on the left and right of the handle. Alright, so you can kind of see those two taking formation there. Alright, and then I'll think about where this goes, possibly putting in a little extra line in the back. Alright, so that works. That's going to be covered up completely, so I don't need to worry about that one. That one drives through, but this one and this one is a little small, so I'm going to go ahead and go with this outside line, draw that down. Alright, that way I have 4 planks total on the outside and the 1 plank in the center. Now this handle comes out, and we're going to round it a little bit. This is going to come forward. We're going to make some edges. Okay, so at this point we've got everything roughly blocked in. Here I'm going to throw in a little shadow there, and just the way I can kind of denote where it is, just like I did underneath the knife that's kind of sitting catty corner. Alright, now I am going to take a second to play cleanup, so I'm going to grab my trusty eraser. Now I did draw through a couple of these just so that I was doing a good job of the whole blocking concept. Alright, so once I got all that information in there, I go back and make sure I have everything the way I want it. Alright, now as I said before, this is not a loaf of bread. This is not the Kroger's squared bread where you take the crust off the end. This is going to be an old-timey looking bread. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start in the back, and I'm going to curve this. Alright, and a lot of the information, a lot of the detail is going to come at this point. So this is where the bread kind of bulges out of the pan originally. Alright, and you may even think about giving a little bit of irregularity in the arc, so it doesn't have to be just, alright, so let it play around a little bit. Now at that point, alright, I'm going to follow this diagonal because it's, you know, the pan would be the same size. So I'm going to bring this little line up. Once again, some poofs. And then I'm going to create the front of the piece of bread. Now once I make that, that's when I come in and change the shape of the front. Now at this point what I'm doing, alright, is I'm developing the contours. Alright, now last lesson when we looked at the grapes, alright, that's what we were focused on. We were focused on gesture, contour, cross contour. So in this piece, we have started out with the blocking technique, which was technically your gesture, and then now we're going to spend a lot of time just focusing on edges. Alright, because there's not a whole lot of cross contouring in this. I mean, you could put some here or there. Alright, but really the edge work in this piece is a lot more, I mean, it's more dependent upon contour than it is cross contour. So here, like developing this knife, I know I've got to have two little rivets to hold the blade. Got the shadow underneath. I'm going to bring this forward. Now this is a wooden plank, just like the bread here, which is irregular. Alright, doesn't have all the smoothness. Alright, this is a natural cutting board. Alright, so even though it is, you know, well connected and it looks like it's going to be well used, we do want it to have some of that old-fashionedness to it. So like right here, when I would divide these planks, I'm really going to darken up that line. Same way here. Alright, so I'm going to darken up the edges. I may even put a little bit, just for my own sake, a little bit of shadowing in here. So I'm developing the height by changing my pencil stroke, and then I'm developing what it's laying on. And this is similar to all that we've done before. Alright, the surfaces stay in the same angle. So there's that. So if I came over here and did some shadowing, alright, all this is one color. Now I'm going to shade out here as well. I'm going to get this nice and valued in. Go back, make sure my contours are all nice and laid in there. So I'm going to erase a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go add the circle where I would hang my cutting board. Now, once I got my contours the way I want them, alright, the next thing we want to worry about is developing, alright, or applying value. Alright, now light source, where's it coming from? Pretty much on the upper left hand side. So most of this is just going to be some bumps. Alright, a little bit of texture here. There might be, as we come forward, a little bit of graininess. Alright, where the bread actually kind of bulls out of the pan. Alright, there's going to be some drop shadow there. Alright, so that's going to be kind of bulged out. Alright, now we can put in some texture if you wish. Alright, but not necessarily needed. Alright, but the bulk of the shadowing is going to be on this side. So the light is coming across the bread. Alright, we're going to have value that comes down like that. We're going to have this side of the bread that is completely colored in. You're going to have your cast shadow that comes across, and being consistent, you've got value here. This is going to be basically the same vein as the bread, so those will be valued in. That's valued in. Alright, now what happens here is that as the light comes across, you're going to have some darker in the corner, but then it's going to lighten up as it comes out. Alright, always adhere to the 5 parts of the shadow. Alright, light source, where's it at? Alright, then highlight, so the light's hitting here. Alright, now since we do have an overhang here, that's why this is a little darker. Alright, then since this plane turns all the way away from the light, and this is the dark side. Alright, the recesses once again are darker, so you don't want to make it pitch black or as heavy black as you can with your pencil, but you do want to darken it out. And then the shadows should have more substance to them than that right there. Alright, then your cast shadow, and it should be consistent all the way across. How does that cast shadow fall? Alright, diagonal. So it's cast shadowing this way. Alright, cast shadowing out to the front. Alright, now last thing we want to do, we want to really focus on changing the handle color. So that is a nice black. Alright, maybe a little shadow out here, but not much. Alright, but then this, even though the handle is black, alright, it is still hitting a lot of light. So I'm not going to darken in as much. And then just to give a subtle contrast, I'm going to kind of hit and miss a little dark the light there. Now, a little dark here as well. I know that's kind of hitting the highlight to what you're seeing. Alright, but that is basically it. Alright, so today we worked on blocking. We blocked in the piece using just basic squares in one circle. Alright, we developed a contour, so once we got the picture the way we wanted, we came back in and designed the stuff around it. Alright, and then number 3, we started applying value. Alright, we used those 5 parts of the shadow. 5 parts of shadow. Alright, to develop this piece a little further. Alright, so once again, remember these are sketches. Alright, still trying to shorthand, trying to make our own little marks. Alright, so yours should look a little different from mine. Alright, there's no winner for making an exact copy. Alright, what it is you're taking an idea which you saw at the beginning, and you are developing it in your style using your ideas and your concepts of the 5 parts of the shadow, and maybe even some of your experiences with Old Tommy bread. Alright, now I do want to thank you very much for watching. Alright, this concludes day 2 of drawing boot camp. So please keep sketching. Alright, keep trying, and if there's something that you missed or didn't understand, rewind the video. Alright, find some place where you maybe got lost or didn't understand. Alright, put some notes out here, or try it again. Alright, nothing wrong with taking an eraser, erasing a little bit or erasing wholesale. Alright, starting. So here's what we did today. Here's just another example. Alright, so you see there's a little bit of extra value, and there's even a notch in this one. So not everything has to be done exactly the same way. Alright, so once again, thank you for enjoying, and this concludes day 2 of Drawing Boot Camp. Alright, keep sketching, peeps, and we will see you next class.